How to save Social Security without raising taxes, or at least how to make it more solvent. We can keep it solvent until 2065. So my man Scott Burns has his article on here, how Social Security already is borrowing money in terms of accounting, their accounting method using trust fund accounting versus cash accounting, whatnot. Jill sent me this article, was pretty interesting. Scott is a big greenie, fell for the pandemic, fell for the green energy crap, but I still like what he wrote, this article, and I like that he had written a book. It's going to be hard to see over my shoulder right there, called Spend to the End with Larry Kolikoff. One of the most impactful books in my life, frankly, as a personal financial planner, my own financial planning, but also as a professional as well. So I'm always forever gratitude towards Scott Burns and Larry Kolikoff. The premise of the book is consumption smoothing. So Josh, my wife stays home. We got 4 kids. That family consumption unit when I'm 35 years old is a hell of a lot different when I'm 65 years old when it's just me and Charlotte, if that makes sense. So the point about Kolikoff and Scott Burns is, instead of worrying that you're not able to fund enough at 35 years old with 6 mouths to feed on one income, why don't you remember that your consumption is going to smooth. You're consuming a lot here, you'll consume a whole lot less in the future. And it liberated me, 100%. I no longer fear retirement, and you shouldn't either, when you're staying the consumption smoothing methodology. And that's with paying off your mortgage, downsize, all that. Anyway, so Scott says, Social Security is already cash short now, and Congress is already borrowing to make good on benefits. All right. And Scott then goes on to say, that's hard to believe. The most recent trustees report said it had cost over revenue of only $22 billion. $22 billion, what? But the actual cash shortfall is larger. All right. We have a cash deficit of $88 billion. Why? Because we have $66.4 billion in interest on bonds held by the Social Security Trust Fund, credited from the Treasury. Right? But to provide the cash, the Treasury had to borrow the money from the public. So these are bonds from the public, man. The Treasury is issuing bonds to the public. They're loaning it to the Treasury so the Treasury can pay Social Security. The interest is $66.4 billion. They're already borrowing to fund Social Security. This is not, I'll never forget, I had to get Rob. Rob went crazy after the ventilator scam, and he's like, you're going to hurt people by not telling. That's the ventilators. Remember that doctor in Brooklyn? I'm not going to get to it. They banned him for saying the ventilators are hurting people. Anyway, Rob was bought that hook on a sinker that we need more ventilators. Sad. Anyway, the guy just, sad. It was literally sad to see what happened in 2020. It was amazing to me. Anyway, Rob's like, Josh, they can't fix Social Security by appropriating money from Congress. They can only cut benefits or raise employment taxes. That's the law. I said, dude, you think the law is applicable anymore, Rob? And Rob is an attorney, of course. You know, these attorneys know it all. Just ask them, they'll tell you. I was like, do you think the law is applicable? Really? They're not going to cut benefits. I mean, they're going to raise taxes a little bit, but they're not going to cut benefits. They're just going to keep borrowing and borrowing and borrowing until it's all going to collapse. All right, so let's see what we got here. The Social Security is funded by employment taxes. Yep. We had a cash surplus that lasted until 2009. All right. So when the cash surplus stopped, the program, the cash shortfall is increasing now. So we had a cash surplus until 2009, which is being used to do other general revenue stuff. And now that cash surplus is gone, we've been living on borrowed time in Social Security for years, the Treasury borrowing money and putting the interest in the Social Security Trust Fund. And those days will come to an end. At some point, the trust fund will be no one. There will not be any trust fund left, even though right now the trust fund consists of debt by the federal government anyway. The whole thing is a Ponzi scheme, the other way around it. By 2032, the cash shortfall will be $407 billion. Woo, Nelly. That's a lot. So our government is already borrowing money to pay for the benefits. Whether the trust fund exists or not, some of the cash necessary to pay the cost of the program has been borrowed every year since 2009. All right. When the trust fund is broke, Congress will have to appropriate the money before the Treasury can borrow. Like I said before, the Congress will just add to the. It's just going to happen. And they're going to say, we're just going to grant you money to Social Security Trust Fund. Look, if you think they're going to cut benefits, that's fine. They're not. It's crazy. All right, so let's take a look here. However, lower cost projections from the trustees are far more positive, albeit in a very dark way. They have the trust fund lasting until 2065 without even an act of Congress. So let's take a look at what we're talking about here. Oh, this is where it gets fun and dicey. Remember, Social Security the trustees report consists of three mechanisms. You got the intermediate report, which is 50% probability according to Social Security trustees. The low cost at 25% and the high cost at 25%. The intermediate report is what we all look at. The trust fund is going to expire 2032, 2034, 2037. In 1999, they're saying 2028, something like that. So it's based on the intermediate report. That's 50% probability, 25 on this, 25 on that. All right, so right here, a man and the intermediate, a man at 65 today has a life expectancy of 18 years more. All right, so if you're 65 today, Social Security believes you'll die at 83. A female at 21 more years. All right, so again, if you're 65 today, Social Security believes you'll die at 86. That's the intermediate cost. For a baby born today, life expectancy, well, today being 2025, is 76 years old and 81 years old for newborn. All right, the high cost has a baby, a newborn, live until they're 77, a female live until they're 82. A man at 65 today has 19 years life expectancy, today being 2025, has 19-year life expectancy, and a female 21. Interesting. Now, the low cost, on the other hand, in 2025, the man only has 18.2 years left, the female has 20.7. Not that different from 2025, but let's fast forward to 2065. Under the low cost, the man at 65 only has 19 years left. A woman has 21 and a half years. Under the intermediate, the man at 65 has 21 years, and the woman has 23.2. You see what's happening. In the high cost, the man has 23 years, the woman has 25. You see what's happening? A baby at birth in 2065 will live until a boy, can we say that anymore? Whatever that child chooses, his gender, his sex, whatever the hell it is. All right, will live 80.7 years, the female 85 years. Under the low cost, the boy will only live till he's 77. And the woman, the girl, or it will live till 82. The high cost, the boy will live to 84 and the girl will live 88. So the issue here is that with lower life expectancies, Social Security becomes more solvent. Kind of puts things in perspective from the last couple of years, does it not? What happened to life expectancies? They dropped. I wonder why they did. Just coincidence, Josh, just coincidence. The Wuhan, Chinese did this to us. It's a bioweapon from the Chinese. I don't know. Did Andrew Cuomo have to put the freaking COVID patients in nursing homes? And he's still walking around as a free man? What the hell is that about? Charlie Baker, half-wit up in Michigan. I don't know, did Larry Hogan in Maryland do it? I want to be bipartisan. He probably did. The idiot from, was it Wolf from Pennsylvania? Is that his name? Wolfie? Now Shapiro in there. All these guys, dude. Did they have to put old people? And don't forget, what is the biggest cost in New York State budget? Well, education is. What's the second biggest? Medicaid. Medicaid is. And Medicaid primarily for long-term care. Was there an incentive for bad things to happen to old people? Yeah. An incentive for the state, an incentive for the federal government. Do they actually have some kind of litmus test that says, we will do this? They don't have to. They're all marching the same download. Anyway, so check this out. Then my man Bob sent me this. This is from the GAO, the Government Accounting Office. Dateline May 8th, 2023, before the debt ceiling was raised. Roadmap needed to address projected unsustainable debt levels. The federal government faces an unsustainable fiscal future. If policies don't change, debt will continue to grow faster than the economy. All right, so check this out. Fiscal spending 2022, 92%. Net interest spending was 8%. In 2051, fiscal spending will be 74% and interest will be 26%. In 2096, basically 50-50. The federal government can't see interest rates raised for a long time. They can't. I don't even know what's this based on in terms of the interest rates. I don't know if it's a 10-year treasury in May of 20. I don't know what that's based on. But I mean, the 10-year treasury going to 6%. You think that's really going to happen? Yeah, right. So check this out here too. I want to show you something else. Right here, debt held by the public is projected to grow at a faster pace than the size of the economy. Debt held by the public is projected to reach a historical high of 106% of GDP within 10 years. and to grow at an increasing pace. That's not what I want. I want to show you something else here. Let's see. Right here. The federal budget deficit in fiscal year 2022 was $1.4 trillion. That's the deficit, which is the amount of money that we added to the already insane debt. The fiscal budget deficit is $1.4 trillion. But look, a 50% decline from 2021. So Sniffy Joe can say we can reduce the deficit by 50%. $1.4 trillion. The decline is attributable to higher tax revenue and lower pandemic-related federal spending. However, federal debt grew by about $2 trillion to $24 trillion in fiscal year 2022. And we just raised the debt ceiling to $32 trillion. Dude, it's going to collapse. There's no other way around this. Now, I don't know when, where, how. No, Japan's still kicking alive. Japan's debt ratio to GDP is well over 260% right now. It's still, look, I wouldn't say it's a growing, economy in terms of like we'd hope, pre-1990 Japan. But we're not even. They're still doing fine. They're still paying their benefits. They're still on their Social Security. There are no children being born. The population's shrinking. Same with every Asian country and every European country too. It just is what it is. Doesn't mean it's going to be a catastrophe. Apocalyptic, whatever that word is, apocalyptic, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. But it just means that the growth that you expect in stocks isn't going to be there, man. It's not. Social Security won't go away. The growth is going to slow down. The debt level is going to dwarf out other spending for other things. There's just no two ways around this. What you've come accustomed to in the last 50 years is not going to happen anymore. Look, it's just that simple. It doesn't mean it's going to be bad. You're going to be eating your kids or anything like that. Like, was it Jeremiah? Jeremiah talks about. It just means at the end of the day, it's going to be slow growth, and that's okay. By design. Shh, just like Sniffy Joe, we got to whisper when we're making a point. They don't like big growth. They don't like you and me, rabble-rousers, hanging out with the friggin' elite. They like to fly around their planes. They don't want to get in an airport with us. We're peons. They want us to live in a little small towns, cities where we don't travel far. That's why they're mandating electric vehicles, because the range sucks. They want us to have freaking a little bit of air conditioning here, but not too much. We got food, we got some entertainment, but not too much. You can see this about, it's not conspiracy theory, it's obviously happening. How you can't see this boggles my mind. We know the cost of energy is going to go through the roof with green stuff. It's inevitable, which means people will use less energy, which means people are going to spend less on other things because of cost of energy. It's going to happen. They're still going to pay your Social Security. Just get used to it. It's okay. What are you going to do? You're going to freaking bark at yell at the clouds? Come on, man. Anyway, it is what it is. Social Security will be there by design, all right? The growing economy we've come to be used to since basically after post-World War II is coming to an end. Japan's the model, and Japan is still doing fine. And what I mean fine, the people in Japan are still got three hots and a cot, dude. They still got air conditioning. They're still eating. They're not freaking desperate, that's for sure. That's the way it'll probably be for us until it rams down until, probably 100 years from now, the West will decline and probably Nigeria will take over by then. Love your thoughts. We'll see you.